Culture Matters. Tell me how it started and then tell me where it's going.
Wow. So, every day from 12 to 1, I had employees to show up to a brick and mortar business, not paid, wanting to be at this meeting. Right? They got paid for other things, but they wanted to be at this meeting where before the meeting started, where they would learn stuff through the proctor, which was me, we went over our values. The lifeblood of the company, the soul of the organization, what we stood for. And what I noticed was that made it easier to train on the competencies they needed to be good at their jobs, which then made them like their jobs more, like me more, and the customer won because then they liked the experience more. And everything changed. I left everything behind. No one knew what the heck I was doing. Everyone judged me. They thought I was an idiot, and I didn't even know what I was doing either. And dissected all of that. Spent years inculcating myself in the many disciplines from psychology, biology, neurology, anthropology, everything possible to figure out how the heck did that work. And where it's going today is helping organizations get clear on their vision, their mission, their values, and create training programs around those so they can decrease attrition, increase productivity, and profitability. And that's become a whole movement now with people just showing up to the meetings that we have, and here we are.
And another question for you, if you could give someone one piece of advice that you think would like alter their life the most in a positive way, obviously, what would that piece of advice be?
Read! Yeah. Because reading, it's not reading the book, it is reading the sentence that then your mind is going to want to wander, and a lot of people put the book down after that. Because they think, or they stop reading and they're like, oh, you know, my mind is wandering, or they stop listening to the audiobook because their mind is wandering. Guys, the reason you read is so your mind wanders. That's called thinking. The reason you read is to think. So the point of reading the sentence is so that two conversations can be had. The one in your mind of you thinking, does that make sense? And the one of your mind saying, well, I don't know, does that make sense? And you're having a conversation in your head. That's why you read.
Yeah.
So read the fucking book.
And as we just discovered recently, me reading a book is the reason I'm here right now today. We traced it all back.
You reading that book, The 4 Hour Work Week, was why you made a decision, not because you read specific, oh, it was just, I read the book. Yes, you read the book and you thought. It's the thinking that people need to bring up. We need to talk about thinking.
So it's not just the book, but it's what the book does for you.
What the book conducts. It conducts electricity called thoughts, which are energy going like this. See this movement? That's what's happening.
Proton!
And then you can fucking be an electron and have energy because you're thinking, and now you're going to build your life. And you did that. You made a decision to go out with nothing other than thoughts, because you had no money, right?
Yeah, negative money.
Negative money, credit, all that.
Yeah.
So you created a very successful business now today, 3-4 years later, helping a lot of people because you made a decision based on something that you read and then thought and then made more decisions to continue to think to solve your personal and outside extroversion problems, like external problems and internal problems, going out, networking, correct?
Yeah.
Writing a book, and then helping other people write books to get their voice out. And it all started because the book was the tool that helped you think, which gave you the confidence and the perspective to make new decisions.
100%.
You went from being passive to proactive in your life.
The 4 Hour Work Week with the book, it made me think and it made me realize that I can do it on my own and I didn't need college. The path, if you will, that they pave, I didn't need that. It made me realize I could pave it my own. And that's what, and it's the thoughts, right? And then, as you were saying, like fix my internal problems and external problems and then help others. So when I dropped out of school, my internal problem was like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
I actually dropped out without knowing. Like I didn't have a plan. I just knew I wanted to do my own thing. That is all I knew.
Wow.
And then I reached out to people, and then the people that I met also generated thoughts, right?
Yes.
Because you learn, and then
on a higher frequency because they taught you things.
Exactly. Yep. So that made me wonder more, then more books, more people, and then you just get on this very fun and energizing path of more books, more people, more adding value, more teaching, more learning, and it's this never-ending cycle, which I'm sure Jay can explain to you.
Yeah, it's called being alive.
Yeah.
If you're not doing that, you're mathematically like the expression of energy. You're just not alive, actually. Because if you're passively going through life, 95% of what we are is unconscious behavior. So there are past thoughts that you're generating your energy off of. You're living through past thoughts. So if you're not always thinking, one could argue, are you even alive?
Well, okay, so very interesting. I'm glad that you said it like that. So when I was back in school, I would say, I mean, obviously I was alive, but was I thinking, or was I actually just getting by to get the grades, not knowing what I wanted to do, maybe become like an accountant or something, I don't know. And so it's a very different way of living.
Metaphorically dead.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Metaphorically dead.
But I think it is interesting, and why I said it like that is that in school, I didn't have this feeling. Like, I couldn't talk to you like this.
Purpose.
Yeah, I didn't have the purpose.
We call it purpose.
Yeah.
I call it being alive.
Yeah, no. But, see, you put words to my bunch of words and you simplify with a bunch, and I like that. But that's the craziest thing. So once you can find that, and how you find it, I think is different for other people. But I think, start with reading a book and it might work for you.
Find it through thinking. Because
Yes,
we'll all find our own answers within.
Yes.
So where's your business today, and how many people are you helping in the space of helping to get their books out so that they can impact others the way you, because that's what your business is, isn't it?
Yes, so Businesses Authors Unite helped over 300 people now become authors themselves. And then we also do these collaborative books. I'm not sure if you can see it behind us right now. But
Yes, the Better Business
It's called
book.
the Better Business Book. So this is something really cool where it's like 100 business people each share their best business lesson. So it's 100 chapters in one book. So we have a bunch of different like programs, services, things like that will help you get your voice out there, help you get a book out there, and then use it however you'd like to help other people, use it as a platform. And it is, what I'll say is this, is that if you've ever wanted to write a book and you've been putting it off, because that's what I find from working with a lot of people, like it's always because whatever, you have kids, you have a wife, you have a husband, you have a full-time job, you're running your own business. A book always seems to be that thing that you want to get done, but it's always like the thing that you try to get to at 10 p.m. and then you fall asleep and never do it. So I just want to say, like, if you want to do it, I highly suggest moving that up the priority list, because the feeling when you hold your first book that you wrote is crazy, and then obviously like the business benefits and stuff like that are great, but more the feeling of empowerment and confidence that you get when you are an author is just crazy. So I highly recommend it.
It's exactly like holding in some urine for hours, and then as soon as you go to the bathroom, it just feels so good.
That is what it is.
Why did we have the video that way?